Now we're going to be discussing literal equations, which will probably be the last section of this chapter, of chapter 2. We know how to solve these equations, these one-step equations where we see 2x is equal to 6. We divide 2 on both sides. Coming over here, we're going to wind up solving 4b. So by solving 4b, the process is the same. The only problem, the only confusing part is that we don't know what a is, we don't know what b is, we don't know what c is. So we have to keep them in that form. So what I'm going to do, I'm solving 4b. I have to isolate, I have to get it by itself. And just like we did over here, we isolated the x by dividing 2. We're going to isolate the b by dividing a. And these cancel. A divided by a is just 1, and 1 times b is just b. B is equal to, but over here we can't do anything with this because we don't know what c is, we don't know what a is, so we have to leave it in this form. Okay, and we just completed that problem. Down here, solve v is equal to IR, which is an actual problem. Let's go ahead and try to solve it. We're solving it for I, so the process is the same. It's just on the other side of the equation. We want I to be by itself, so we're going to divide R on both sides. Okay, on this side, well, R is gone. R divided by R is 1. So we've got I, well, I'll write it this way first, V over R, which is the same as I is equal to V over R. You can write it right to left or left to right, whichever you prefer. Okay, now it's going to be a little bit more difficult. Now we're going to solve 4b. So it's p is equal to a plus b plus c, and we're solving 4b. So actually I'm going to color code the b, just to better show what we're trying to isolate. Okay, so we're trying to get the b by itself. How do we get rid of the a? How do we get rid of the c? Well, do the opposite of what's happening, which is subtraction. Or you can think of it this way. If you have, let's see, 15 is equal to 20 plus x, what do? Well, you subtract the 20 on both sides. Okay, and you wind up with negative 5. Well, looking at this problem here, we have two terms that we're trying to get rid of, but we don't know what they are, so we can't combine them. So we're going to have to subtract the a and the c over separately. So we're going to subtract a. Subtract a. What's p minus a? No idea, because you don't know what p is, you don't know what a is. So it's p minus a is equal to b plus c so far. We're not done because we're trying to get b by itself. So we've got to subtract c on both sides. So now we have p minus a minus c is equal to b. I'm going to rewrite it because it's getting a little messy down there. b is equal to p minus a minus c. And there we go. We just solved for b. Same thing with this one. T is equal to m minus n. We're solving for n. We have to get rid of the m. What do? Subtract m on both sides. What's t minus m? No idea. So we have to do t minus m is equal to, the negative remains, the n comes down here. And now this is kind of a difficult. If we wind up with negative x is equal to 5, and I did tell you this, but I think we're still forgetting that there is a 1 here, and we've got to divide negative 1 on both sides to get x by itself. So we have x is equal to negative 5. Well, right here, there's negative 1 here. Just because it's a variable doesn't mean the rules are any different. So what we're going to do is we're going to divide the negative 1. We're going to divide the negative 1. So we wind up with n is equal to, now what's happening is this negative 1 goes with both of these. So the signs for each term up here is going to change. So you wind up with negative t plus m. So n is equal to negative t plus m. Or you can write it as m minus t. Now let's look at this one, and we're looking at two fractions separated by an equals. What do you do when that happens? Well, you cross multiply. We're trying to get b by itself. So let's go ahead and cross multiply. 2 times a, we don't know, so we just write 2a is equal to a plus b. And now what do? Subtract the a on both sides. The small a, I should say. There's a capital A and a small a. They are not like terms. So we have 2a, big A, minus small a is equal to b. And we just solved for b. And now this one, which is This is actually diameter is equal to the circumference divided by pi. It's an actual equation. If you ever divide the circumference by the diameter, you always get pi. That's how pi came to be, discovered a very long time ago. But we're solving for pi. Well, look, we're just going to cross multiply. Just as if these are numbers, the process is the same. It's just you can't combine them because you don't know what these variables represent. So c times 1 is c, and pi d. But we're trying to get pi by itself, so we're not finished. Now we divide the d on both sides. These cancel, so we wind up getting pi is equal to c over d. I think this is the last one for this video. We really have to go into more depth on this topic because it's a very important skill and will make your life easier as you get through this class and future math classes. So let's go ahead and look at this one. We're solving for a. So we want to get rid of the b first by subtracting. Hopefully you practiced this. You paused the video and tried it. Those are going to cancel, so you get c minus b is equal to ax. And what's the next step? Well, we're solving for a, so you want to get rid of the x. The x applies to both of those. X cancels here. A is equal to c minus b over x. And we just solved for a. Congratulations. We're finished with this video.